1.
Boom, and welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Pacific Calls. I'm Jeff Stanfield with the world famous Andy Shaver.
BHP 25% off. There's no other call company in the market today that's offering that kind of a discount or anything like that. It's only for you loyal listeners of the Big Honker Podcast. So go take advantage of it while it lasts, because they could yank it tomorrow, and then you'll be like, shit, now I got to pay full price. So BHP 25% off. And they make the best lesser call. It's right here. Now that I think that we're back on YouTube, the BA lesser call. If you shoot those little bastards, get it. You have hell getting home, Jeff.
Yeah, boy. Me and Michelle flew home yesterday. Was from New York. We've spent a week in upstate New York and different places. Went to some cool places, but my travel itinerary coming home, last time I flew home, I had to drive home from Minneapolis. Another time I had to drive from Dallas to Abilene because we're connecting flight because of a thunderstorm. If the farmers in North Texas will get together and pool some money together and buy me and Michelle some first class flights to, I don't know where we want to go next, I'll let you know. Y'all pull your money together. I can guarantee you thunderstorms and rain. We got home. I got in bed at 5 a.m. this morning.
Now here you are, just bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
I'm bitchy. I noticed I was jumping on Tony's ass a minute ago about stuff already.
Worked our fingers to the bone last week making a nice coffee bar out here, and you criticize it to shreds.
Well, it's stained two different colors.
It's not stained two different colors. We can't. It's difficult to match stain that's 20 years old.
Well, we didn't get very close, so we're gonna have to go take it all, do it on. I guess sand it and redo the whole thing. But we're not gonna do that till after hunting season's over. So I'm gonna have to listen to your mom every day when she comes in. She goes, "Well, this coffee bar looks stupid, two different colors." Mm-hmm. And I agree with her when she says that, because it does. But it looks nice. Y'all done a great job on it.
We had to get done, Joe.
It looks good. I'll give you that. It looks really, really, really good. I'll tell Tony. And plus, I'm just freaking tired. What a long flight. Whew.
Whose fault is this? Anybody other than yourselves? You have nobody to blame.
We didn't make it storm.
You have nobody to blame. These things happen in travel all the time.
We didn't make it storm.
But people get delayed.
Oh, no, I understand that. I just had shit to do today, so I had to drive home.
This is your fault.
Well, hell, everybody's listening to this anyway. Here's the story. Yesterday, me and Michelle, we had a 6 p.m. flight out of LaGuardia. We stayed in Newport, Rhode Island, and I'm going to get into Newport, Rhode Island in a minute. Anyways, we stayed in Newport, Rhode Island. We left this morning. Your mother is a sick individual, not because of the fact that she married me. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the things that she likes to see. Mm-hmm. She likes to see murder sites.
Oh, where people have passed on?
We went and looked at the Amityville Horror House.
Okay. Now, that's a famous house in America, though.
And then we went to Lizzie Borden's house.
That's another famous house.
Okay, well, there's a matching deal. Your mom likes horror places.
But they're all famous
and you
places.
can stay at Lizzie Borden's house. Who the hell wants to stay at a bed and breakfast that's made out of places?
I bet there's a ton of people. People are flocking to the Jeffrey Dahmer. There's only one place left that Jeffrey Dahmer for sure killed somebody, and it's a hotel room. And you can spend the night there. And they're booked out all the time. But the apartment complex has been bulldozed. But yeah, people love it.
I do not get that fascination. Another thing. So anyways, we fly back. I'll backtrack a minute. We fly back. Well, we leave Newport, Rhode Island. And I tell your mom, and you know how your mom is. She's always late. And it takes her 2.5 hours to get ready. I don't care where we're going. I said, we need to leave here about 8 o'clock. Okay. Well, 7 o'clock. She's like, are you ready? You see my eyes still closed? No, I thought we were leaving at 8. You never told me 8. Yeah, I did say 8, Michelle, because of traffic. I knew traffic was going to be bad before 8. So we end up leaving the hotel about 7:30. We go look at the Lizzie Borden house, and we head. The plan
that was in Newport?
That was in Newport, yes.
We
planned. Well, it was actually Fall River, Massachusetts is where it was. So anyways, we stayed in Fall River. We didn't stay in Newport with the snobs. We stayed in Fall River on the trashy side on the other side of the bridges. So anyways, we were going to go to LaGuardia, and the deal was we were going to go to LaGuardia. First, we talked about getting a parking garage somewhere and parking and going to Central Park and doing it in the fall. Well, it was raining. So we said, yeah, I ain't doing that at Central Park. Then we decided, you know what? Instead of doing that, we're going to go take our luggage, check in, drop it off with American Airlines, then Uber into Manhattan or go do whatever we want to do for a couple hours. Well, it was raining and shit, and it was taking 45 minutes to get out of the airport. And I said, we're not going to screw up and miss our flight. So we flew home last night. Supposed to land at 8:45. At 9:30, we're landing in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We took off of Tulsa about midnight. Got to DFW at 12:45. in and out of luggage, picked up our vehicle at the Hilton at South Lake, and was on the road and home by 5 a.m. and in bed. So that's been my day.
Sounds like a nice little wrap up to your vacation there,
Yep.
Jeff.
Anyways, it started out this way. We landed in LaGuardia, went and ate at a wonderful Italian pizzeria with some guys that are coming deer hunting with us this year. And we went and ate with them and met a wonderful guy and sat and bullshitted with him and ate a meal. And his name is Andrew Talama.
Mm-hmm.
And he has Field to Fork on Instagram. You need to follow him. A real Italian. I'm counterfeit Italian.
Field to Fork. So is he putting like game on pizza pies?
No,
or what?
no. He cooks and has a lot of food stuff. He's a foodie on his Instagram page.
Okay.
But Andrew is a very neat individual. But he's a real Italian, and I mean a real Italian. He says if you come to their house like on Columbus Day.
Hey, you're on his Instagram.
Yeah.
Look at there.
On Columbus Day, he said you can drive down the street in his neighborhood and there'll be empty crates all over where people have been doing tomato sauce all day long. Or you'll go by and see empty crates where they've made homemade wine. He's bringing some wine and tomato sauce when he comes hunting this year.
Boy, I sure love wine.
Well, he makes it. Anyways, went to his cousin who's hunting with us also, owns 3 or 4 different pizzerias there called Patsy's Pizzeria. And we ate dinner there. And they had an incredible the best thing I had on the whole trip to eat. They had buffalo chicken, and they had Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. The Philly cheesesteak egg rolls was the best food I had on the whole trip.
Philly cheesesteak egg roll.
Yep.
I don't know.
They're excellent.
I mean,
it tasted as good as Gino's Philly cheesesteak, and it was in an egg roll.
Yeah.
Well, I know how to order cheesesteak. You don't.
Sure.
You ordered it without the whiz and no onions.
Right.
I got the whole.
I got bread and meat.
Yes, yeah, they got the whole thing. It was very, very good. That was my best meal the whole time. I had
Is that not like depressing?
No,
It's your first day there.
It was just that good.
You get topped out.
No, it was good. I had some good meals on this stuff. I had some meals that weren't so good too, but that was a very good meal. We had lobster bisque at Sodus Point at a place called Captain Jack's. It was very good. Very good. As good a lobster bisque as I've had anywhere. It was better lobster bisque. I had better lobster bisque there than I did in Newport, Rhode Island on the ocean.
Really?
It was very, very good. But anyway, so we go to Mom. We land at LaGuardia, and she's like, "Well, can we go see a couple things for you? We're staying we're going to stay at Sleepy Hollow. It's always she's wanted to see Sleepy Hollow. We was going to stay there. So we land. We go eat dinner, and then Andrew tells us good luck, goodbye, and
see you in November.
And Mom's like, "Well, are we going to go see the Amityville house?" I was like, "Yeah." Are we going to go? We went to the Amityville house, then we stop at Coney Island and see it, and then we can go to Manhattan and see the Trade Centers again. I go, Michelle, New York City is not like running across Knox City, Texas.
Right. There's traffic and bridges and tolls, and
she goes, it's only 16 miles to the Amityville house. Yeah,
right.
That's 48 minutes.
Yeah, right.
So it took us 48 minutes to get to there. By this time, it's 4:00 in the afternoon, 5:00, and she's like, well, what about Coney Island? I said, Michelle, we don't have time. We're going to get to Sleepy Hollow. So we got to Sleepy Hollow, went and ate dinner that night in Sleepy Hollow, got up and that morning and went and looked around. That's a really cool town. That town is where Washington Irving wrote Sleepy Hollow. And he wrote some other things. And I cannot think what it is right now. I'm tired. But we went to the cemetery there. Now, you know when you're vain when you build yourself a 4,000 square foot monument to be put on top of your grave. You're gone.
Well, that's what people did back in those days.
Well, obviously, those people must have had a lot of money, the people there, because William Rockefeller's gravestone looks like
Or is that somebody else's? Or do I need to type in Rockefeller?
Yeah, put in William Rockefeller's headstone.
There it is. Right there. 1 second.
Look at them things.
Oh, wow. They
look like houses.
Yeah.
Or they look like an old, a colonial, or not colonial. I don't know what you call that.
And I'm assuming that you cannot go inside.
What's to see? It's just a dead body. There's nothing to see.
But is there a casket in there?
I'm assuming so.
Mummify the fella?
I'm assuming so. But there's all kinds of them like that at that place. It's crazy.
Well, Different time, Jeff.
Well, no,
respect the time.
It's not different times, because if you go to Mexico right now, this is what these drug cartel guys are doing now when they get knocked off.
Oh,
I saw a picture of a guy. There's a cartel guy got killed. He's got a 10,000 square foot house built on top of where he's buried at.
Well, Jeff, when you got money to burn,
they damn sure have that.
Rockefeller. Which Rockefeller was he?
That was William Rockefeller.
Was he a good one or a bad one?
Well, I think they're all the same.
Well, that is impressive, though. Wonder how much that cost.
They didn't have anything to say about it, but but it was that whole area up there is full of Rockefeller stuff, and a lot of old New York money was there.
You know, it's funny because you always say, like, why did my ancestors settle on here? That's exactly why.
Because they didn't have no money.
Couldn't fucking keep up with the Joneses there. They had to go west. That was their only their only thing.
That was big money at the time, and I don't know what separated where they go to, but then we went to Newport, Rhode Island. And that's where the big money was.
Big money.
And we are going to have a lady, Harley Tinney's going to be on with us next week. She lived in the Bellacourt Castle.
Never heard of it.
60-room house.
So when you've got that many rooms, I've always wondered this.
We're going to ask her these questions.
Do you like, fuck it, let's go to room number
I'm gonna
60. So, let's go to room 60 tonight. And then, like, do you just, like, start over every 2 months?
I don't know. It's those houses are so big, and we went inside the Breakers, which was a Vanderbilt. It was the grandson, I believe, of Cornelius Vanderbilt, the Commodore, and we went in his house. And it's the second biggest house I've ever been to in the United States.
Behind what?
The Biltmore, which is...
That's it right there?
No, not with palm trees and stuff.
But the Breaker... this one. Newport, Rhode Island.
Yes, that's it.
Not the Palm Beach one.
Yes, that's it right there.
Whew.
And it was... they didn't even have a TV in there. What the hell did they do back then?
I don't know how they point their furniture.
Oh, it was horrible. And I told the guy that we met a really nice couple from New York on the tour, and we were talking and stuff. And I go, you know what's crazy is, I said, my oldest son talks about this on our podcast all the time. Those people, we live better today. If you've got an 800 square foot apartment in Manhattan, you live a better life and more comfort than those people did in that big ass house.
100%. You can fight infections. I think that's what I'm looking up right here. I think it was Rockefeller's grandson. He died of an infection.
One of them got ate by the cannibals in Africa. That's a true story. Went off on a Congo safari and became the meal.
I think it was Rockefeller.
Vanderbilt died of something. Maybe it was
Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt himself died of something that was just an ailment, got sick and got into sepsis or something and died. There's nothing you can do about it.
But yes, middle class today, you're living like a king compared to them. Your house might not be as big, but you've got a refrigerator, you've got a TV, and you've got access to the best medicine that we've ever had.
You should see the kitchen in that house.
See, I don't know.
It was amazing.
I've seen kitchens like that before, and I don't think that they're all that great.
For that time,
they're clunky. They're clunky.
Sure. This one was not. This one here had a stove as long as this wall right here.
Really?
It was that long, yes. And they had big copper deals with the servants. They kept 30 servants full time there. They had the cupboards where they kept their was 3 stories high of just china in the cabinets where the china was to serve. But they sit down and had meals with 40 people. We're going to get into this with Harley because she's going to go over a lot of this stuff with us because we're going to have a lot of questions about that because I find it very fascinating, the money these people had. But that was Newport, Rhode Island was where the big money went, the old money, the Astors, the Vanderbilts. That's the old money. The new young money coming up, they didn't have that. And I think if you watch the new show Gilded Age, which is on, I believe, Netflix, it's a kind of a spinoff of Downton Abbey, which it's not really a spinoff because they're not connected, but it's the same that Gilded Age time. I think the story is about Vanderbilt because he was new money also. And they were kind of shunned by the Newport, Rhode Island people. And there's another house there, I think it's called the Cliff House, that you can do tours on in Newport. And that's where they filmed the Gilded Age at. And they're going to start having tours next year on it. Which me and Mom, we love old stuff like that. But it was Newport, Rhode Island was the snobbiest place I've ever been in my entire life.
Like you could just tell, like as you walk by, like they're just Got their noses up in the air at you.
We went. Mom's favorite.
You didn't wear your overalls there, did you?
No, I did wear my Filson overalls 2 different days though because it was colder as shit. But I looked on. But in northern upstate New York, I didn't look out of place in them.
Mm-hmm.
But no, at the Breakers, I wore just pants and nice shoes and nice shirt.
I hope you did us.
I did you really well.
Yeah, because I've got a.
I did have a picture
reputation to
made with
uphold.
about 3 people.
Did you?
Yes,
What for?
because they knew who we were.
No, they didn't.
Just ask Mom.
Not in Newport, Rhode Island.
No, in Newport, Rhode Island. No, nobody in Newport. Yeah, yes, they did too. I did have a guy take a picture with me in Newport, Rhode Island. So
I'm
there
not
you go,
debating
asshole.
that, but I'm saying they didn't know us.
Yes, he did.
No.
So yes. So, anyways,
2 young men drift on an overturned catamaran along the coast of southwest New Guinea. 24 hours have passed since their motor died. One of the men, Michael Rockefeller, son of New York governor and future vice president Nelson Rockefeller. I don't know what that word means. One of the richest men. 10 miles to shore. He swam 10 miles to shore just to get eaten by a bunch of cannibals.
Yep.
Fuck, that's dealer's choice right there. I mean,
You ready to get bit by a shark or by a person? I think I'd
I
take the
drown.
shark.
I'd just rather fucking drown. They say you just go to sleep.
So, anyways, that in Newport, Rhode Island, is where they have the America's Cup, the big yachting race, and that's where all the big blue bloods went. So we go in this. We went there. We went shopping down their little shopping downtown area, and it reminded me of being in the trendiest areas of the nicest towns, with all the little shops and the little boutiques and stuff. We went into Kill James Patrick, which is Kiel James Patrick. One of Mom's. He's a great photographer. He's somebody you need to follow on Instagram. He's got awesome pictures, but he has really cool stuff. We went in his store. And it was nice. The people were nice there.
Real hoity-toity.
Big time hoity-toity.
Yeah.
We went into a pub and watched the Giants football game and had
Who did they play?
nachos and a drink or something. They were playing the Jacksonville.
Oh, that's right.
And we were watching the game. And there was it was full. It was packed. We were lucky to get a table. We was by a TV and everybody's watching. Well, behind me sat these 4 cocksuckers. Democratic politicians. And they were all in their little goop together, all wearing their little, Sperry shoes and the polo belts. I mean, they were decked out in yuppieism as far as you could get. And they were talking, and I was listening to them watching the game, and one of them's like, yeah, that's the hardest bill I've ever had to pass, and blah, blah. So I don't know if they were state congressmen or if they were U.S. congressmen.
Right.
But they were talking about law school, and, Jack, he's such a dumbass. He took his bar 3 times. I could listen to him talk. And I thought, you know what? These are the fucking guys, and they were Democrats. These are the guys that are sitting here telling us about how the plight of the poor people are and shit. Them fuckers don't have a clue about real people.
No.
They had their driver from the club. I heard him say, well, we got to get back at the club by 4 for something or another and blah, blah, blah. And that's what they were doing. They were sitting there having drinks, and then they're going to go back and tell everybody, yeah, we went and had beer with the real guys down at the bar and watched the football game and shit.
Right. They want to feel real, but
yeah,
they're not.
They're not even close. Beto would have fit in with these cocksuckers real well.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, while we were in there, the Giants scored a touchdown, and just like the Giants do, they come back and win. Their coach is a great second half coach. He does great adjustments.
Dayball?
Yes, what a coach! And did you see people's got the shirts on now with him? They got big old shirt with his big old fat face, and got a beer mug next to it. I mean, the working guy really likes him. Well, anyways, there's a bunch of these regular type people, I guess, that work there that weren't the snobby guys. And they were laughing and fun, and all of them had Barkley jerseys, and they were screaming. That's it's been a long time since I've been to a bar that wasn't full of Cowboy fans.
Or where they were cheering the Giants.
Yeah, and they were getting into this. Well, anyways, the Giants come back and win. This dumb fucker sitting at the bar's got a Buffalo Bills shirt on. He starts jumping up and down. He's like pointing at his shirt. Buffalo. The motherfucker, what are you bragging about?
What are you talking about? They're off this week.
Yeah, but they hadn't done nothing.
Who?
The Bills.
They're very good this
They have
year.
might probably have the best team in football, honestly.
Right.
But they haven't done anything. I mean, the Giants have won some Super Bowls.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I could have jumped up and said, I'm from Texas, Dallas Cowboys, because we beat y'all's ass. And I'm not a Cowboy fan.
But I don't understand when
he
the
was
Giants win that he's
That's what I
crazy.
couldn't understand that. He was, but he kept pointing to the shirt, Buffalo. But the motherfucker, y'all ain't done shit. Y'all got beat with 13 seconds left. I mean, just because you're really, really good now, but don't act like you're something you're not, If a Patriots fan would have jumped up and did it, as bad as they are right now, at least the Patriots have some history, a lot of history.
Mac Jones lost his job last night.
Yes, he did.
Do you think that it's because they really like Zappy, or do you think because I mean at the end of the game, Zappy one touchdown, 2 interceptions, or do you think that Bill Belichick likes to feel smart, like?
No.
Oh, I got Zappy, kind of like I did Tom Brady's, whatever. I don't even know what round Zappy was drafted in.
Sixth round.
But do you think Belichick wears that as like a badge of honor? Like, oh, I get my quarterbacks in the 6th round. Like you keep spending your 1st round picks on them, or do you think that Zappy is legitimately?
I think Zappy
better?
is really a better player, and I think the conditions probably didn't help him because he throws better. And the Bears played pretty good football last night.
He looked like a better thrower of the football. When he throws the ball, like his has more zip on it.
There's a rural Texas connection there with him. Do you know that?
No. Zappy?
Yeah.
Really?
The kid that's the offensive coordinator at Texas Tech,
okay,
is a Kitley, from rural,
right?
Same place Art Briles is from.
Okay,
his dad is the track coach at Tech.
Yes,
and his dad got him a job as a graduate assistant at Texas Tech while he was going to school there, I believe.
Kitley.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm off on some.
He got a job
numbers.
at Tech.
Anyways, he got him a job at Tech. Well, then he went to some other places. Well, anyways, he was at Western Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the offensive coordinator. Zappy was there, and Zappy threw for 62 touchdowns last year.
Oh, I'll be
at
damned.
Western Kentucky, and then they hired the kid from the Kitley kid went back to Tech,
right.
And now he's their OC, and he's going to be a head coach somewhere. He's a good football mind.
He's good.
But that's that story with Zappy. But I listened to Boston sports radio all morning. We're driving to the airport yesterday,
mm-hmm.
and it was great, and it was a legit sports radio deal because they made fun of Skip Bayless.
Of course.
And they were connected. They had Boomer Esiason came on for a little bit and talked. I mean, and they had one of the guys was a receiver that played in the league for a while. I don't know how, I never did catch his name, but they were legit talking about this coming up last night. And they had a bet, all of them were deciding who was going to quarterback last night. And one guy says they got to stay with Zappy. He's got the hot hand. They're 2-0. Well, they're going to win anyways. Bears aren't any good. They're going to be able to run the ball at them all night long. Blah blah blah. No, they look like shit. I watched the game on the plane.
How did you do that? You had internet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Until we landed in fucking Tulsa and sat on the tarmac for 3 fucking hours.
But why couldn't you watch it in Tulsa?
They didn't have the internet, and the plane shut off when we landed.
But you should have been able to disconnect internet.
I didn't have any fucking phone service.
Oh.
It sucked.
Well, I can see that.
Me and the Jewish guy next to Mom had hell with it.
Well, Haim.
He was full toboggan on and everything, or whatever you call that.
I made a little comeback in the standings last week.
Did you? I hadn't even looked at them.
You lost 7. Jesse followed suit.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad
she followed the wrong person.
Good. You didn't cost us $100. But it was a interesting yesterday, and they talked about the football. Listen to New England, but there's most of the people there really like Zappy, and Mac Jones is going to be good trade bait. And I look for Mac Jones. Unless Ellinger does good, they're going to see what they got with him. Why do you say that? You don't even know.
Jeff, I know.
Why do you know? He's taller than Kyler Murray.
It's a losing. They're not going to do any good with Ellinger.
Well, we'll see.
We sure will. You're rooting for him because he went to Texas.
Yeah, I like him for that reason. But I'd give him a chance. You see what Mac Jones is already. You know what you're getting there. And Mac Jones is not a bad quarterback.
9-7.
Look at his completion rate though.
I'm not saying that, but I don't.
Okay.
I think he's going to go down as another Bama quarterback.
All right.
That's all I'm saying.
Let's put Mac Jones, and let's put him on the Dallas Cowboys right now.
You've got him in Cooper Rush.
You might have him in Dak Prescott.
No.
That he should be better than Dak. But what I'm saying is you put him with a defense like that. Dallas's offense didn't play well enough last week to beat anybody else.
And plus,
did Jamal Williams fumble inside on the 2-yard line?
Yeah, I believe
they would have went ahead in that game again. Dallas was losing to the Giants in the fourth quarter. Dallas was fixing to be losing to the Lions in the fourth quarter. Dallas is winning because of defense.
And I'm sorry, but like this little scheme might work when you've got Tom Brady as a quarterback, but not Mac Jones. Who's his receivers? Jacoby Myers?
No, you got to give him some weapons.
Like that works when you've got the greatest quarterback to ever play the game at his prime.
Did Miami win this week?
We can do that. Yes, they did.
I watched them play.
Pittsburgh Sunday night.
I watched them play. I did watch them Sunday night. Tua, when they run that quick offense with him throwing the short balls, they got away from that. I didn't understand that.
They always do.
You do things. Your first drive is scripted. You go down and score a touchdown. You look good. Then you get away from the script.
Or they adjust. That's probably what it is.
I'm sure the other team did adjust some, but you got to adjust a little bit too. But you got to start doing those quick throws.
So did you get into any like the Kill James Patrick? Like where's his bloodline, or is he an outsider that just opened up a
I don't know, but
hoity-toity?
He's got like 7 of them stores.
Oh, okay.
But
you figure there's going to be an end there. They don't just let outsiders come pop up on Main Street.
Well, if you want to pay the rent there, you do.
Oh no.
There's a lot of those boutiques. The thing is that the guy's got the kid had some money growing up. You can tell. But anyways, he takes great pictures. He's marketed himself well, and he's got a really cool store. But that's a neat place, and I recommend anybody on the East Coast go to Newport, look around, go to the mansions, and see how that people live. They had bidets back in the day.
Really?
Yeah.
And where did it like?
It was right next to the toilet. It looked like a little sink. You put your ass in it, I guess, and turn the water on.
Huh.
I had to stop and piss at a Shell station and gas up right before we dropped our car off at LaGuardia.
Yeah.
They had a bidet in the public restroom.
Mm-hmm.
It was a water hose and a sprayer like you'd spray in your garden.
I don't know that I'd be using that.
I laughed.
What did they have like the columns outside where you'd hang your ass over and like you just shit and it goes all the way down to the bottom, or is that old England?
I guess that's old England.
But yeah, I guess you would sit, but you would be like a canal, or not a canal, but like an elevator, and you just take a dump and
they had
down it would go.
They had a lot of cool stuff that I saw on the trip, and that was obviously some of the coolest was going there. We got to go. You think I'm lying? I'm dying. Looky there.
That's disgusting.
It's a water hose on it.
Who would use that?
I don't know.
Because like you got to put your hand back there.
I'm telling you, we stopped and gassed up in the middle of downtown. Well, I don't even know where the hell we was. The middle of a neighborhood. Lady was outside, had her smoking a broken down washer machine on her balcony, and I told her, I said, man, imagine living in this concrete jungle. Fuck.
It'd be awful.
Oh, horrible. Just the sounds, quiet. Fucking ambulance was on the corner loading somebody up. I thought, in a small town, everybody look out there trying to see what's going on. Nobody pays attention to shit there. Just constant 100%, 24/7 of that crap.
And nobody gives a shit about their neighbors, and it's
there's nothing like that at all.
There was some video, a lady got, and I'm glad you're back, because this is, people like you go up there to die.
We go up there to die.
Yeah, you get thinking that the West Texas ways will work up there, and it doesn't. You got no street smart. I think it was in Queens or something. A lady was getting stabbed in the street, and nobody stopped to help her.
That don't surprise me. They wouldn't even notice it.
But they noticed. They just kept driving.
I'm gonna tell you what. You don't have to look very far when you're driving through one of them little boroughs, other than Manhattan, to see someone that's got it a whole lot worse than you do.
Well, and there's a lot of people that have it a whole lot better too. So
that's true. I said not in Manhattan though.
Oh.
I mean, when you get there, you see a lot of people, and they're looking at you like, that poor fucker.
That poor fucker's got to go back to Texas. It's dry out there.
His life could be a whole lot better than it is. That sucks.
I'm trying to find what rich guy had a son die, or maybe it was a grandson. Maybe I'm typing in the wrong thing. One of them died of an infection. He needed penicillin. They didn't have it. Can't.
But that was common then, back then. So we make it up. We leave New York. We go to Sleepy Hollow. We stay the night there. We do that shit. Then we go to Sodus Point, New York. We stayed, our backyard, we were on 5 acres. I'm going to tell you a creepy part of our story. So we had 5 acres on the Lake Ontario. Beautiful home, beautiful yard. It was neat. I think we're probably going to rent it for the summer, and that's what we're going, taking the grandkids and all of y'all this summer. Beautiful place. So we're there the second night, and I'm telling you right now, when you turn the lights off, it's dark. I mean, it's dark. Cloudy night, dark. We're sitting there watching TV. It's about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. Boom! We heard a rifle shot. And I mean, it sounded like it was on the 5 acres.
Really?
I kind of look out the windows a little bit and open the door and look around.
No gun, of course.
No,
Can't
don't
fly
have
with a
shit.
gun.
Don't have nothing like that. It's like, fuck. So I locked all the windows and doors. I thought, we're going to be murdered in this fucking house. It's probably a set-up deal.
Probably.
We're probably the 17th people that have died.
Did you do like the mirror test to see if it's a two-way mirror?
No.
You got to do that.
So
you got to do that, and then like you got to put your remote on the door handle. That way, if it opens, the remote will fall off and alert you.
Well, let me tell you.
Follow me for more safety hacks.
Let me tell you this. Not only is it 5 acres, it is down a dead-end road.
Of course, yeah.
That you go from
100%.
pavement to the neighbors. It says dead end. You go past the dead end sign. So at 9:00 at night, the first night when we get there, I call the lady and I'm like, I can see the house on my Google Maps.
Yeah.
I have it on satellite. I can see it, but you can't find a road to get to it.
Yep.
Well, we have a 4-wheel drive Jeep Liberty. Don't ever recommend getting one of them little fuckers. 12-gallon gas tanks, I think. I'd fill up, be $22, and we'd have 300 miles to drive. Anyways, so I'm going to try it. I get in the woods. I said, oh, there's a trail here. I'm on a snowmobile trail. I can see the house down in there where it's at, but can't get to it. So I have to back out. Well, then I call the lady, and she tells me, oh, go past the dead end sign about 200 yards or 300 or 500 or 700 yards, and then the house will be right in the woods. It just opens up to it, and it did. So we're down in the middle of nowhere. The last night we're there, which is the night after the bullet shot, Mom goes down the walkway, and she's walking on the beach. Really, it's gravel beach, and she's walking, looking for whales and sharks and shit in the ocean, but it's fresh water. And so I hear this kid say something.
A kid?
A kid. 5 or 6 years old. 5 or 6 year old kid. I'm like, what the hell? Pops up this man and his 5 or 6 year old son come walking up on the beach.
Where'd they come from?
The house next door.
Oh.
Which was 500, they said. So Michelle's like, that kid came up to me and said he thought I was his mom. She goes, something weird here. She goes, I wonder if he does. Mom's dead and his dad's trying to find a new mom. And, she's all talking and shit. I'm like, Michelle, I said, that's fucking stupid. Just some guy and his son out walking on the beach also. She goes, well, where do they come from? She goes, the house next door. I said, I guess so. That night, we go eat dinner in town. We come back. We see him on the other side of town walking down the street. Just a kid and his
dad. Really?
I was like, oh, great, rifle shot. So I texted Tony. I said, listen,
if anything happens.
There's a black guy and a 5-year-old kid. If me and Michelle come up missing tomorrow.
He was black?
Yeah. I said,
was the kid black?
I didn't see the kid. Mom did.
Oh.
I said, this is suspect number 1 if we come up missing tonight.
That's crazy. That's crazy that he just popped up.
I told him, I said, we had a rifle shot last night.
Well, obviously the mother would have to be white if he talked to a white lady and said, hey, you remind me of my mom.
Yeah, very good deductive reasoning there, yes. But anyway, it was just a weird deal. I mean, it was in the middle of fucking nowhere. And then so Michelle kept telling me about this. She goes, it was just really creepy. She goes, it's just a weird vibe and stuff. I'm like, you're just making some shit up. She goes, no. She's like, where's that kid's mom? He thought I was his mom. She goes, it just was weird the way he said that and the way the dad reacted and stuff. She goes, it just something was not right there.
What'd the dad say?
Oh, you're fine. I'm just taking pictures. And Michelle said he kept taking pictures of me and shit. She goes, something was weird was there going on. So she tells me this the whole time. I'm like, you're just letting your imagination run away. She goes, what if his mom's dead in the house and they kill? She starts building all this shit up, telling me this. I'm like, Michelle, let me tell you something. When we turned around that corner a mile away from coming to that restaurant in the middle of that road,
and he was
and
there,
that kid and that guy are walking after dark, walking down the road. She's like, what is going on? I said, I wish you had never told me all that other shit, because now I'm going to think about all this stuff.
That's weird.
Yeah, it was just.
We're not staying there though. Just pick a different house.
We may. So,
look at this. So we were talking about the Rockefellers. That's the maternal mortality rate. 1,900, over 800, and 1,000. Like why
per 100,000 live births?
Oh, that's per 100,000.
Yeah, 800.
Do the math real quick, Jeff.
Well,
that's 8%.
Andy, 10% would be 10,000. 8% would be 8,000.
Oh, that's not that bad.
It's less than 1%.
That ain't bad at all. Why are people making this out to be a big deal?
Well, look at it now.
Well, yeah, it's very safe now.
Yeah, like 1 out of 100,000 birth dates or birth. So in a town like Abilene, Texas today, there's going to be 1 live birth day. No, that's
one
births.
lady a day.
That's be bigger than that, because there's how many places have 100,000 births in a year? It'd be Dallas. So in Dallas, which is going to have 100,000 births in a year, and I don't even know if they have 100,000 births a year. 100,000, you're going to have 1 dead baby.
No, that's mothers.
Oh, the mother died. Sorry. You're going to have 1 mother die out of 100,000 births in a year. So in Dallas, the Metroplex in Dallas probably has 100,000 babies born a year. 1 mom's going to die during childbirth.
That ain't bad at all. Why are they making this?
Back then, though, it was 800 or 900.
No, that's not what you just said.
Yes.
You said that's out of 100,000 live
people.
births.
800 people died back in the day.
Out of 100,000 people.
100,000 people, 800 people would die.
10,000.
1,000 would be 1%.
That's not that bad.
Well, but still, it was a lot more. I mean, now you're talking about 1.
I agree.
So it's not very much at all compared to what it was.
I thought it was this astronomically high number. I thought that this was
Well, and this is the stupidest shit. Look, it says if you are a woman or if you're a man, your wife, and in either case, your daughter and your sister had a much higher chance of dying as a result of giving birth than is the case today. No shit. I mean, it'd be about that way on everything.
No, this is just saying how we're better off today.
Yes, we are on any kind of medicine stuff. What are the chances of dying in appendicitis back then?
Probably pretty high.
Yeah.
Dental care was shit. That would be the worst. Take this shot of whiskey and open your mouth. So do you think that kid, do you think that they were like searching people out? Because you hear about this all the time.
I don't have a clue.
I would not have stayed in the house whenever I realized like how close we were.
Yes, you would have, because it's just like the things in the scary movies. Because I thought about that.
That's exactly how the scary movie starts.
That's
you
right.
go to the dead end and then you keep going.
Yeah, and on the scary movies, you're like, why didn't they just leave?
Exactly.
Because you paid for it already. You're going to stay there.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, you do. You don't think none of it. When I woke up and seen the sunshine, no, when I woke up. Now, I did look for weapons in the house.
A knife.
We were fucked.
A knife. Speaking of knives, I watched the worst movie that I've ever seen in my entire life.
I watched one of the best movies I've seen in a long time on the flight. So go ahead and tell me yours.
Halloween Ends.
I've heard it was horrible.
Fucking stupid.
Well, that's because they get dumbasses like you, because if they have Halloween Ends too, you're going to watch it.
It was terrible. And I knew it was probably going to be pretty terrible going in because the Halloween Kills wasn't that good.
Are you going to watch the next one then?
There is no next one. They put him, spoiler alert. So if you have not seen Halloween Ends and you want to see that piece of shit, skip ahead 30 seconds because I'm about to give you a spoiler alert. They put him into there's a scrap yard and they put him into like the metal grinder.
He ain't dead.
Jeff, they drove him through town like a deer on the hood to prove to everybody that he was dead, and then they dumped him into this metal grinder.
He'll be back next Halloween.
No.
Yep.
I fucking hope not. If it's this bad, then it was awful.
Well, you know what?
The movie's an hour and 45 minutes long. We don't even see Michael Myers until the hour mark.
Why don't they?
Terrible.
Why don't they just keep building new ones of this?
Because they can't.
Not just keep adding on to it. Start off in another small town and just make a new one.
They can't.
Yeah, they could. Nobody gives a shit anyways. So they could do it. They just want to see me hatchet it up. Okay, I watched one of the best movies I've seen in a long time. And I am embarrassed to say this. Top Gun Maverick.
I can't get into it.
Have you seen it?
No, but I can't.
It is you could if you watch it. It is a very, very good show. I'm not a Tom Cruise guy either. Okay. It is a very good show.
My mother-in-law, somehow she missed, I don't know, in the 80s. She's grew up in the 80s, was an adult in the 80s, had never seen the original Top Gun. So she watched it.
I'm not surprised.
She watched it and she's like, I guess you just had to be there because it was bad.
Top Gun?
Yeah.
The original one was really good.
Go back and watch it because that's another thing. Through the lens of history, and you were in the moment. So go back and rewatch it and let me know what you think. But she said, maybe if if it was 1989 and, we were living that life, then maybe it was good. But in 2022.
The new one is very good.
And I've heard everybody that has watched it has said that it's good.
I'm thumbing through on the plane and I'm looking for something to watch. And
Maverick.
I thought, fuck, I'll give it 10 minutes and see if it's any good. Shit, damn good movie. One of the best movies I've seen in a long time. And now me and Mom's got a new Netflix series we're starting to watch called The Watcher.
Yeah, that's based on a true story.
Oh, it's freaking really good. The first two series. I've only seen the first two episodes.
See, I read about it. It seems kind of
don't ruin nothing to me. But what I've seen so far, it's been a really good show.
Because they get notes, right?
Just leave it at that.
Yeah, they get notes.
Yes, but it's a really interesting show so far.
It's a true story.
Yeah, well, to a degree, I'm sure it is. And the guy that plays I know it's based on a true story, but the guy who plays the neighbor in the deal, he's been on a lot of shows. And he's a great method actor.
Barber's old girlfriend.
Oh, that's right.
Margot Martindale.
Because we were watching that, and I'm looking through Wikipedia because I wanted to see the guy's name. I want to see the lady that's the star of the show,
Naomi Watts.
Yeah, and then the other lady that's got the plumped up lips all the time that was in Two Broke Girls and was Stifler's mom.
Oh, right.
She's in it, and I don't know how she keeps getting roles, but she just keeps getting roles all the time.
She says she's banged over 1,000 men, I think, since playing Stifler's mom.
That's probably she plays that part really well. But Anyways, and I was looking through there, Margot Martindale. I told Michelle, I said, that's Steve Barber's old prom date. She goes, what? I said, yeah. I said, Steve Barber and her went to the prom together. She's kind of big. I said, well, you know, I'm not saying she wasn't back then either, Michelle. But she's a Hollywood actress, and Steve dated her, we'll just say.
She is.
Took her to the prom.
But I've heard how many episodes is The Watcher?
I don't know, but I've watched 2. I think there's maybe 10 or 12, but it's one me and Michelle will watch.
That's way too many. Way too many.
I don't like watching first year episodes. I wanted something. I thought it was like a multi, 5 seasons.
This is a one-off.
Yeah, I like the ones that's got 5, 6 seasons. So I start watching it. And let me tell you what's funny: the people we stayed at their house up there, they had Netflix.
You had a watcher at
that's right,
the place,
and that's when we'd been watching it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, that's not good at all.
So
and the weird fucking kid pops up. Like that's dead giveaway. The weird kid pops up, and then the dad and.
Well, while we were there, I was looking through the lady's Amazon Prime to watch football. It was on Amazon Prime. I thought I was going to have to log in and shit, so I flipped it on what was on hers. So then I flipped on Netflix. It was her Netflix. She's watching Shameless, the lady was.
Oh, really?
I thought, she's 70 years old, and she's watching Shameless.
Well,
what's that chick's name?
Possibly not. I don't know. Jennifer Coolidge, I think, is what I read.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to find out how many people she's banged since American Pie. There was a big to-do.
Well, she was on Two Broke Girls for a while, too.
Really?
Which I thought was a pretty funny series. There's not very many series I would watch today there's nothing on that's comedy that I don't watch any regular TV.
200,
anyways.
So not 1,000. I made that up. Just 200. Since playing Stifler's mom in 99. I can tell you the end of The Watcher if you want to know.
No, I don't. I want to watch it, so don't tell me. But anyways, okay. So we'll go to Sodus Point, then we go to Buffalo, we go across New York, we go across into Canada.
Did you drive by the stadium? Is it as big a shithole as what they wanted to believe?
I've drove by it before. I didn't notice it before being a shithole, so I don't know if it is or not. But Buffalo has got some of the coolest architecture in their neighborhoods of any place I've ever been, the old homes.
Buffalo.
Yes, Buffalo has beautiful homes. Beautiful, beautiful homes all over the place. We went to Canada, and we got into political discussion with the guy at the border there. He goes,
like a Border Patrol agent?
Yeah, from Canada. He goes, oh, you're from Arkansas. You're from Texas.
I am.
I said, yes, sir. Don't know how y'all do it down there. That's what do you mean? He said, I wouldn't even send my kids to school in Texas. All them people getting shot at all the time. I go, seriously? I go, bullshit on that. He goes, y'all need to defund the NRA. I said, no, we don't. We need to fund the cops more and fund the NRA. I said, you're getting your news the wrong way. I said, fuck, look what you got up here.
All those people getting shot.
I said, yeah, I think there's school shootings everywhere you get. That's all I hears about. I said, no. I said, actually, we don't. I said, we did have something. I said, that's a fucked up situation, that whole deal. And I said, I don't know what happened, but I said, something screwed up there.
Right.
I said, shit, you got fucking Trudeau. I said, I wouldn't be talking about much living a good life with Trudeau. He goes, he only got elected because of pot. He goes, we got a better system because we got four different political parties or whatever it is. I said, well, then y'all just keep with the same stuff, socialism bullshit you got now. I said, you just now got to take your fucking mask off. He goes, actually, then we started talking a little bit, and he really wasn't a bad guy. I said, Texas isn't just people running and gunning, shooting people like you say it is. I said, that's, he said, well, probably the media. I said, well, I can tell you one thing.
Shit, the media, you dipshit.
I said, bunch of fake fucking news. I said, y'all got stuck with fucking Fidel Castro's fucking dictator son up here running shit. And I said,
did he know that Fidel Castro is?
He just laughed. He was
he
really,
knows. He knows.
He was a pretty cool dude. We talked hunting, and he liked to hunt and shit. And so then when I'm leaving to come back, we have this a black guy from New York is a Border Patrol agent in the U.S. side, and they give him our stuff. And first thing I say is, Joe Biden's still president? And he started laughing. I go, well, things are still fucked up over here, aren't they? And he started laughing and shit. And we started talking. I said, is this the whole entrance? It was like fucking going through the drive-through at Bud's.
Really?
From Buffalo to, that's a big fucking crossing, too, the Rainbow Bridge there. And he goes, yeah. He said, it's pretty low-key here. I said, there's no fence. There's no shit. There's nothing. I said, I crossed in Tijuana about 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. I said, there's a big difference. He goes, oh, yeah, we got to worry a lot more crime. So I guess we don't have to really worry about Canadians coming over and causing problems.
No, they don't want to come over here. We got Joe Biden. Like, they're happy. They're happy with their communist offspring.
But of all the border checks I've been through, there was less stuff there than there was in the middle of Plentywood, Montana, where we crossed at.
Well, you got a lot of hunters trying to cross illegally there.
But it was crazy. There was nothing there. Anyways, we went to the Anchor to eat. The place the buffalo wing was invented. Disappointing. They may have invented the buffalo wing at the Anchor, But Buffalo Wild Wings, I'm not a big Buffalo Wild Wings fan.
Mm-hmm.
They have perfected it compared to that shit up there.
Just
Absolute trash.
No sauce. It's just dry.
No. We got them with sauce.
Okay.
It was trash. I'm telling you, fucking trash.
Eesh.
And everybody I've talked to that went there,
Tourist
Andrew told me, he goes, don't go there. Go someone to another place. I wanted to go. I wanted to see where it was invented.
Go to the original place.
And boy, it was freaking horrible. The wings taste like they cooked them so hard they were hard and crisp.
Eesh.
And then they put the sauce on. They just were horrible. Dry. Like, how do you fuck up a buffalo wing?
So that was like, that's your Halloween's End moment. Like they told you not to go there and you did it anyway, knowing that it was going to be bad.
Yes, I wanted to try to see how it was. And it was bad. It sucked. I'd never go back again. And all these little fucking hockey kids are there. I guess they're having a hockey tournament there. And they're like youth softball or youth baseball.
Right.
And there's hockey kids running all over the place and shit. I thought, well, what the bet? You're not feeding your kids good food by coming here.
Mm-mm.
I can't imagine going there a second time. It was that bad. And Garrett, he messaged, he's like, man, it's the worst place I've ever eaten in my life. It's bad. It's a horrible, horrible place, and I would not recommend it to anybody.
It's called the Anchor?
The Anchor in Buffalo, New York.
Buffalo wings. Let's see what kind of reviews they got.
If anybody get them over the 2, they're liars.
It's got 3.5 out of 5 stars.
That means you're horrible.
No.
It was horrible. Absolute trash.
Maybe you just caught it on a bad day.
Yeah, when the kitchen was open.
Maybe a new chef came in and they're putting their own spin on it.
It was bad. I'm telling you. I would put it this way. If I had to choose between going to Texas Roadhouse or the Anchor, I would go Texas Roadhouse 10 times out of 10.
They've got all sorts of sauces. I don't see how they mess this up. Wings are pretty easy to cook. Like,
no,
I don't understand how.
It's the cooking method. It wasn't the sauce.
Right.
It was the cooking method. It was and everybody I've talked to said the same thing. They overcook them. They're crunchy.
Overcooked.
They're overcooked. They were dry, and Buffalo Wild Wings. They pull up. The skin is soft, and it's good.
Yeah,
them fuckers are overcooked bad.
Well,
if you took chicken strips, and you burned them, and then you threw some sauce on them, that's what you would have there.
That's what you'd get.
It was not good at all. So disappointed.
Well, now you know. You don't have to go back now, Jeff.
I won't. I'm glad I did it. I said it did. Had one of the best drinks I've ever had up there, and it's going to be my new drink for the year.
Oh boy,
an orange mule.
I don't like ginger beer.
The orange vodka
mm-hmm.
does something to it that takes out the bite of it or something. Really good. That orange beer we went to Thousand Island, which is the Bolt Castle. It's another cool place in America. If you want to see some weird, I'm going to do a map of all the back roads me and Mom have been to. We have been to a bunch of places, just the back roads. We went to Bolt Castle, which is a huge home that was built on an island in the Thousand Island area of New York, which was right on the Canadian border. The guy built that for his wife. She died. He never went to it.
Really?
He never went to it. It's huge.
Did he sell it?
No, they ended up giving it away. Anyways, you're looking up the orange Moscow Mule.
Yeah.
A must. Telling you, orange vodka, ginger beer, and a big slice of orange in it, and squeeze a little bit out of it. Very good.
Ginger beer, I can't do it.
Those were good. Me and Mom had 2 or 3 of those at different places. I ordered them if they had orange.
So it's popular.
Orange vodka. I guess it was very good. I'd never had one before. It was very, very, very good. Went at some little cafe in, what's the name of that little town we went to? Alexandria Bay, New York, which is right where the Bolt. Look up the Bolt Castle. BOLTDT.
It just sounds like y'all just had a grand little time.
We toured all over that area. We'd been all over Maine. We've been all over New Hampshire and Vermont. Now we've been all over upstate New York. Next year we're going to go to Upper Michigan and stay at Lucas and them places. Look at that place. Built that for his wife.
On the water.
On the water. It's the whole island. And never.
What do you mean it's the whole island?
It's the island. It's his house. That's the boathouse. Go to the other. That's just part of it.
Well, then why is it not showing me what I need to see?
Go right down there.
I see.
Ain't that amazing? And it closed the week before we got here, so we didn't get to go on a tour of it, which is good because it was 38 degrees and spitting snow when we were there. But it's a beautiful place. Beautiful.
What did this fella do to...
He was the general manager of the Waldorf Astoria in New York, and his family had a bunch of land and a bunch of money, and I think they were out of Philadelphia.
The general manager?
The GM of the Waldorf Astoria. Yep.
Oh, they're a fucker.
A beautiful place, but never, ever ever stepped foot on it when it was done, because his wife died and they finished part of it. They didn't even finish it completely. He died. It sat vacant. His family decided they gave it to the Thousand Island Restoration, or the Mile Bridge, or whatever they call that bridge right there, foundation, for $1, and they've put $50 million into it, finishing. They do tours and stuff of it. It's a beautiful place, but it's just right out in the middle of the St. Lawrence River.
Now, this might sound silly, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
The Thousand Island.
The Thousand Island dressing, I assume, is probably from up there.
Okay.
If that's what you were going to ask me, I'm assuming that's. I'm assuming
all I'm asking.
It's going to be very gaudy shit. It's just the same as the Biltmore house that I've been in, and that house is this, or the breakers are the same. Every old house I've been into had gaudiest shit in the world.
If you had all the money in the world, what would your house look similar?
No,
just gaudy as hell.
No, I told Michelle, if I had the money to build a house like the Breakers or any of these houses. I saw some houses on Oyster Bay in New York that were really nice. And if you live in Manhattan and you can spend $5 million for a penthouse hotel to live in, or whatever it's called, condo, or you can spend $1.5 million and buy a house on Oyster Bay, I would rather have my $1.5 million and spend a house on Oyster Bay. But I would rather go somewhere and buy me 3,000 or 4,000 acres and build me a nice house and have some life to live. No, I would not live that gaudy shit. But I think back then people had so much money, they didn't have nothing to do. You couldn't buy a private jet.
Right.
I mean, the wealthiest,
nice
the wealthiest of wealthy had their own private train car.
Right.
And that was it. I mean, a guy like Cornelius Vanderbilt, he owned the train, but he had his own private car. And there's a lot of rich people had their own private train cars. That was probably like having a private jet.
As close as you get. It takes 2 weeks to get anywhere, but probably pretty close.
The trains move pretty fast. They made some pretty good time.
A week.
To go from where to where?
Philadelphia to San Francisco.
Probably. I would probably say that's probably. No, I don't know. How far is it? 22,000 miles?
No, it's got to be further than that.
At 50 miles an hour.
Philly to San Fran?
Yeah.
I bet it's pretty. Bet it's a jaunt. San Francisco is, survey says, it doesn't know. Fuck.
Just miles. Jesus Christ, I can look up on my phone and just go miles from 1 to 1.
Miles?
Yeah.
You don't want kilometers?
No.
Survey says 2888.
How far?
2888.
2888.
So 3,000 miles rounded up. At 50 miles an hour, 3,000 miles.
How far is that, Andy? 3,000 miles by 50.
There's a 60 in there.
Yeah. 6 would be 300.
Mm-hmm.
So 60. So 60 hours, 2.5 days.
That's not that bad.
Now,
but you have to stop.
So let's say it take 4 days. It's still not bad, though.
No.
Yesterday, I'd rather rode a fucking train than the one I was on.
To New Year's from...
Yeah. But let's say, but back that time, let's just say that you were going to Cincinnati, Ohio, or to St. Louis, because there wasn't a lot of traffic going across the Mississippi River by train until after Hell on Wheels was done.
Did you see that fucker's almost dry?
And some places, some tributaries are, but the main channel's not. It's
Jeff,
lower.
There's a fucking barge that's stuck.
No, there is some places like that. It's dry. Did you not listen to Hank Williams Jr.?
No.
The Mississippi River, she's a going dry.
Well, he wasn't.
You only get mugged when you go downtown.
He wasn't lying.
Stock market's down. What's he say? Fuel prices are up. Stock market's down. You only get mugged if you go downtown.
Do you? I bet. What song is that?
Country Boy Can't Survive.
I bet it was written in the 70s.
It was.
There you go. Makes sense.
Jimmy Carter.
That's right. No.
Yes. 1976 to 1980.
82 was Reagan.
1980 was Reagan.
Yeah.
76 to 80, Jimmy Carter was in deal, and Lewis Henderson, a good friend of mine that's going to be on with us in mid-November, is coming out here to hunt with us again. Older gentleman, very, very a great story. Made his own money. Good guy. Helped me and Tony co-signed a note for us to build a building here that we're in right now. Back when we had nothing. Anyways, Lewis, a good friend of mine, told me when Jimmy Carter was president and he was about 30 years old, he told me, he said, I thought the world was ending every day.
Now we got Biden. And everybody's dumb enough to think the same thing.
That what?
The world's ending.
Well, it's not ending. It's just
a shitty cycle.
Well, I'm gonna
The
tell you what.
Mississippi River is the latest body of water. Anyway, it's way low. But I was talking to Trevor Austin yesterday, and he was talking to somebody that does a lot of like flooded timber hunting, and they're not going to have any because the tributaries are all dry.
That's right. They're not going to be able to flood like they did. Had
Right.
somebody else that's connected in the waterfowl industry called me on vacation, and we were talking. I can't remember who it was right now, and we were talking about the same thing. We were talking about the flooding of the. Maybe it was David at Ducks Unlimited. Anyways, we were talking about people not being able to flood, and I said, even in Minnesota
Missouri?
Nebraska, we had talked about with Blake, we were going to open up another deal up there, and we were going to start hunting this year, and we were going to really grow this year with it, and we were going to flood corn. We'd already set aside, talked to some farmers besides Blake, and had it all worked out. Well, they used all their water irrigating corn this year. They didn't make.
They get a low allotment every year
Yes.
in Nebraska. So, like, the fact that you're just going to dump water on the ground for ducks on a year like this, it can be tough.
We had 2 inches of rain yesterday here.
1.5 inches.
Some places had 2 inches. But anyways, 1 inch to 2 inches of rain. And we got a chance of rain again on Friday. So it's not 2011 made over because then we didn't get any rains.
No.
Now, we're not getting runoff rains, but we are getting rain. And
We're
the
getting
weeks,
right to the point.
right. And every time, right till it starts to run off, then it quits raining. But at least we're getting rains that it's at least making that for the wildlife, or at least deer and everything are going to be okay because of that.
Yeah.
They say it's going to be I've seen 2 different models on the weather. I've seen one model that shows it's going to be colder than normal, but drier than normal. And I've seen one that showed it's going to be wetter than normal and warmer than normal. So you tell me, which one do you want? Do you want cold and dry, or do you want warm and wet?
I'll take,
Now, what's going to happen is it's going to be drier and hot
and dry,
is what's going to happen. They're not going to hit it the other way.
If I had to take that, I would probably
I would take cold and dry.
I'm going to go cold and dry.
Yeah, me too.
Final answer.
Because we're pumping some water.
Yeah. But
especially if we keep getting farmer rain that we're getting right now, which is helping the farmers. Because
right.
we're going to have wheat this year that we didn't have last year.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, we got geese and cranes on wheat right now. We don't get to start goose hunting until next Saturday.
A fella from Kansas messaged me and wanting to know what things were looking like down here. And I told him we're pretty well on pace with what we're accustomed to this time of year. But anyway, he said all their stuff is dry. They're on sand pits in Kansas. So.
And they're dry?
No. Sand pits have water and stuff like that. The main Cheyenne Bottoms.
That's all dry.
Quivira, right?
Yeah.
It's all dry, but the birds are on
they're sand pits.
Sand pits and shit like
Their
that.
problem is they don't have no crops because they haven't had any rain hardly.
He said everything irrigated is going to be okay. They've gone, the corn's all out, and then they went in and planted. They drilled wheat behind it, so
they should be in good shape then.
Anything dryland didn't make. So.
Yeah, and that's going to be tough because there's a lot of dryland wheat up there.
Yeah,
a lot of dryland crops, like Blake's area.
Yep,
those birds are going to fly by. If there's no,
it's going to be an interesting.
If you've
year.
got water, you can keep birds around for a little bit, and they can find places to feed. But when there's no water and there's no food, if there's no food, even if you got water, they're going to eat quick and get gone down the road.
Right.
But when you have both low on water and food's typically, they're not going to stay very long. You'll have a big push of birds. You'll see a bunch of birds for a couple of days and they'll disappear. Someplace somewhere is going to hold a lot of birds that normally don't.
Yep. There's going to be a home run hit somewhere.
Yep. And what's going to happen? Some poor fucker's going to get in the hunt business in that little place over there. And then the next year there won't be no birds again. He's like, where'd they go?
Yeah, 100%. Got my Flagman Legacy products in. They got the old pole kite over there. Dave Reese was kind enough to send it to me. Whew. Jeff, my first time ever having a big pole in my hand like that.
There you go. Are you going to
wave it around?
Are you going to quit guiding pretty soon?
I don't know. Why? You got something else for me to do?
No, but your wife made a comment the other day about me retiring, and she goes, well, you're not going to retire? And he goes, well, I don't plan on retiring until I die, probably.
What am I going to do if I'm not guiding? There's nothing else to do out here.
Well, no, we could find, eventually, I'm planning on you taking over most of what I do, and I'll do other things.
What are you going to do?
I'll find something to do.
That seems rather silly, but I am excited about that pole kite. That's my big, the big game changer. And, I mean, it's pretty... It's old technology, but it can make a big difference because up until this point, now there's probably going to be 17 of those motherfuckers in our area.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, too. We are spoiled on bird numbers here.
Why?
I drove the whole Northeast from New York City to Buffalo and that whole area up there. Right. I never saw, and I know there's pockets of places that have lots of birds. I never saw big concentrations of ducks or geese. Now, we were there 2 days where the highs was like 40, 42 degrees, overcast, cloudy, and I would see, you'd see 15 graders here. You'd see a dozen here, 7 here. I never saw fields with more than 100, 150 birds in them.
That's how people hunt, though.
That's right.
If you get 500 birds in a field, like, you're stacked.
Yeah, and the guys tell me, they're like, I just can't get over the amount of birds you have here.
Right.
It is completely different. I saw some really interesting stuff. I saw some Amish kids.
Mm-hmm.
We're driving down the road, and there's a cart there, and this little Amish girl standing at a stop sign, and there's 2 Amish kids sitting in the buggy. And this girl's got this look that she's pissed off. She does not look happy at all. Mom,
you can spot those.
Mom, I got to get a picture of her.
Right.
So I turn, go down the road. We'll turn go down the road, and then there's about 10 more Amish kids walking down the road. Girls and boys, the boys were 6 to 10 years old, and the girls were probably 10 to 14 years old.
Meanwhile, they see you turn around knowing that you're going to come back and take pictures.
No. We drove down the road.
Oh, okay.
I handled this pretty cool.
Okay.
Then we turned, and these girls mean mugged us as we drove by too. So then we come back by again, and they mean mugged us. So I stopped at the stop sign where the kids, and I asked where the Christmas tree farm was because I knew there was one somewhere around there.
Right.
So that gave me a reason why.
Right. Why you need to talk to them.
The girls don't wear shoes.
Why?
I don't know. The boys all had boots on.
Girls don't wear shoes?
Girls had no shoes on, and they had grocery store feet.
Too much technology, baby.
Huh?
Too much technology in those boots, I guess. I don't know.
Walmart feet, every one of them. Black, nasty-ass feet. Cold. It was 38, 40 degrees and raining.
Oh, they're built for it.
Tough as shit. I'm telling you right now, they can have breech babies, and they'll be fine. Those are tough gals.
I don't know why. Did you ask them why they don't have shoes?
I should have, and I didn't.
Well, yeah.
That's right. I should have asked,
Listen,
why don't y'all wearing shoes?
It's 38 out here and spitting snow. Why don't you have shoes on?
And then every time we would see one of the little girls, none of them had shoes on in that area.
Should I ask?
I don't know if their family didn't have any. I'd chip in and buy them some shoes. Difference is, you do that shit in regular world, someone's calling CPS on you.
Yeah, you can't do that to the Amish, though. They've got different rules. They don't even play. They're not even playing the same game as us.
It was
less different rules.
Every farm, I could tell a farm was an Amish farm before we got close to it.
Clean?
No.
Dirty?
Not clean. It's just different. You can tell by the farming practices everything was just different than the rest. Now, someone on here is going to have a neighbor that's an Amish guy that's a great farmer, and there probably are a lot of them. I don't know, but the ones I saw.
Well, I mean, you're handicapping yourself.
Yes, and you could tell the difference between the guy next to you that's got the 10,000 acres he's farming that's perfect looking and theirs.
There's a barge in the Mississippi. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting year. I'm still revealing a 19th century shipwreck. Maybe it was dry then.
Oh, that's the picture right there where the people have got the Dollar General photoshopped on top of that. They showed all these people coming through with bags of shit. Have you ever been in a Dollar General that was well organized?
Ours is not too bad.
Total disarray.
It's not that bad. They're working on it.
They never catch up.
They
never
no
do.
way to work.
That's the problem.
No way to work. Was there a worker shortage up there?
We didn't go anywhere that was a big. We never went and ate anywhere that was long list. Me and mom walked in someplace and everybody looked at us like our flies were down though. It was a little town. We went in to eat dinner at some dinner place, and
they know you're not welcome.
We walked in the door there, and they're just kind of looking at us. Everybody's sitting around the bar drinking and shit, and so
they know who's supposed to come.
I waited for about 10 minutes, so then one lady, I said, "Are we supposed to seat ourselves? Do you see somebody? Do you have reservations?"
Nope.
No. I said, "We're tourists."
I did see where Trudeau did away with all new handgun purchases.
Really?
Yeah. You didn't see that?
No, I did see that. We were there. That was the day I talked to the guy.
He was probably happy. He was jumping for joy that day.
Did you see Ted Cruz on The View?
I did. Whoopi took up for him a little bit.
She's such a fat bitch.
She kicked those people out that were heckling him.
I didn't know that part. I didn't see that part.
He had some hecklers, and she told him basically, "Shut the fuck up and get out of here. We'll handle this. We need to talk to him."
Well, they need to let him talk, and they need to be
They did. He was trying to talk. There was a heckler. Whoopi stopped it, kicked him out of the studio, and said, "Listen, let us do our job and let us have a conversation. You need to leave."
Did they let him give his points and stuff?
That was the only clip I saw.
Okay.
I saw that clip and then the one where she said that we don't raid after a loss.
Shit. I guess she missed that whole year or two of all that crap.
That's what Ted Cruz said.
He even pulled out some notes I saw.
He did?
Yeah, he pulled out some notes and said, what about this? And they're not going to have an answer.
Well, they don't have any answers for that because they don't see that.
That would be like, though, for him to go on there would be equivalent to Bernie Sanders going on the 5.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
What about if it was Charlie
that,
Schuler went on?
No, because I think they would get a fair. I think they would get a fair interview on any of those channels. I don't. He went into the Lions Den going to the View
and wasn't scared.
No,
he's the smartest man in that room. I promise you. Everywhere he goes, he is
100%. Yeah,
he's a sharp man.
All the girls can do is talk about emotions and how they feel bad. Ted Cruz can talk about logic. Now he did go to Mexico when we were freezing, but I don't blame him.
Well, he wasn't fucking going to turn the lights on.
To Jeff.
First
it's
of all,
not a good look when your leader is
hold on
jumping ship.
He's not a leader.
He is a representative of Texas, and he is like, listen, it's going to be cold in Houston. We're going to lose power. Let's get the fuck out of here. I'm not listen, I understand. There's nothing for him to do in Houston, but I'm saying it's not a good look.
Let me make a point, though, for him.
Okay.
I'm not a Ted Cruz homer guy. I voted for Ted Cruz. I wouldn't vote for John Cornyn if that's the last motherfucker on earth. If I had to vote for Hillary Clinton or John Cornyn, I just wouldn't vote because I think he's a sellout, no good, sorry bastard.
Mm-hmm.
Have no use for him at all. He's a George W. Bush clone dickhead, basically. But the Ted Cruz is not. He's a Canadian. He's not really a Texan, but he does a really good job of representing us. He become a Texan. He lived here long enough. He done the rules. He's a very sharp,
but how can you run
man.
for president?
He's naturally born here, though. His dad was he was born on an Air Force base. I think. I believe so. Well, I don't remember the whole story on him, but he's more of a citizen than the guy that was there for 8 years before that. But, and I don't even know if that's true or not. Anyways, he seems like a pretty good guy. But he is our state senator. If John Cornyn would have been in fucking Paris when it happened, it would have been the same fucking deal. He wasn't here to damn turn on the lights or do anything. That's where you have a mayor and you have city council and you have a county judge and a county sheriff. He is not a local politician. He's a state politician. And there was nothing he was going to do that was going to change what happened during the cold. I understand the optics look bad on the deal, but if I had a lot of money and it was cold and we were going to be without lights for 5 days and I had to live with your mom griping and my daughters, he lives with a bunch of women. If
you were his advisor and you looked at the big picture like he might run again in 2024.
I would say send your family down there and you stay here.
And beyond. Would you advise him, yes, nobody's going to give a shit that you're going? No, you'd be like, listen, they're going to see you on the plane. I know you're wearing a mask. They're going to see you on the plane. They're going to see you in your shorts and your flip-flops.
Unless you're going private where nobody's going to see your ass, stay home.
Like, it's not going to help you.
But sending your family, there was nothing wrong with that. I
don't think anybody would have known his family.
Yeah, and I didn't have a problem with him going, to be honest.
I didn't either.
I really don't.
I mean, I understand he's
but
not turning my lights on.
But the optics don't look good.
But if you're gonna be the guy that is gonna run the United States maybe one day, it doesn't look good when you're tuck-tailing and running when things are getting a little bit chilly. That's the only thing I'm gonna say.
I have more of a problem if a mayor of a town would have done it
100%
than I did the senator that's not going to do shit.
100%. He could have been in Washington for all we know. Well, I mean, like, it was warmer in Washington than it was here for that. But I'm just saying. Maybe stay at home next time.
But
go to work.
Optics with politicians is horrible anyways. You know, Joe Biden, I'm not going to get off on a big political deal, but
don't, because we just got back on YouTube.
That sucker don't ever go to work. I mean, he takes off every weekend.
He's been gone. I've read a stat. I think it's close to 60% of the time since he's been in office, he's been away.
You know what the conspiracy theory people say why is?
Easy with any of this stuff.
Not going to say nothing that's going to be. They say if he's gone and he stays at his Delaware house, they don't have to do logbooks of who come to visit him.
Really?
If he stays in D.C., they have logbooks. Anybody that comes to the White House has to sign in and stuff, and there's a log of it. But when you go to his personal home,
you don't have to.
You don't have to do that.
Did you see he fell asleep?
In 1977, yes, and we've been paying for it since.
No, 40% of his time on vacation. So he's only been, 60% of the time he's been doing something.
His wife should go to prison.
Yeah, he was doing an interview and just like nods off.
Absolutely.
And then the interviewer let him off the hook. Oh, sorry, Mr. President.
Yeah, did I wake up your nappy nap?
Yeah, I'm sorry to. I realize it's 2:30, and you're probably tired, but I'll see if I can find it.
But anyways, that's the big conspiracy deal is that he don't have to check in, and so they don't know who's going to visit him. I don't think it matters who the fuck comes to visit him. I don't know. He knows who they are anyways.
And then he was in another interview, and he dropped his cards, his answers, and they hand them to that. So like he's not even.
Oh, the man deserves to be in a nursing home somewhere, and his wife should be arrested for what she's done to this guy. She gets booed everywhere she goes to. They get booed. I'm telling you right now, when we were in New York, Lee Zeldin's running for governor up there against the lady that filled in for Como.
Right.
I didn't see 3 signs for her anywhere.
Dr. Biden is for it. Mr. President. Oh,
he's asleep.
Dr. Biden thinks that my wife thinks that we're doing something very important.
Yeah, conning American people out a bunch of money.
He was out of it.
Yeah, but anyways, in New York, that's a toss-up race now. Those people have had it. The people in the cities and shit, they've had the crap. I saw a black dude in Miami was talking about. He said, I voted Democrat my whole life. He said, I'm voting for DeSantis.
So how does it work if DeSantis wins, which I'm assuming he will?
He's up by double digits.
If 2024, I don't think Trump's going to run again. I think they're going to disqualify him probably right after the midterms. They've subpoenaed him, and
I think you're probably right.
I think he's going to be disqualified,
and that's going to cause some serious discourse in our country.
Correct.
Whoever he gets behind is going to win.
DeSantis can just. I'm running. How long? What's a governor? Is it 4 years?
2, 4, 6. I don't know. Probably 4 years.
But you just opt out of it and say I'm running for president.
Same as when Obama was a senator in Chicago and ran, and Bush was governor of Texas. They just run, and that's what Charlie Crist tried to get him on.
And then there will be a special election for
for
governor.
Yeah, they'll appoint somebody. Kind of like Como got kicked out for his sexual shit, and they put that lady in. When the lieutenant governor becomes the governor. When Charlie Crist tried to say that in Florida the other day, he's like, well, can you guarantee you're going to be here 4 more years and still be the governor of Florida? Well, it doesn't matter if they vote him for 18 months. It's still better than getting your ass in. Charlie Crist was a Republican, switched to Democrat,
really?
ran for Senate. He's been to work 14 days in 1 year.
Whew, what a gig.
$174,000 of legal money
a gig.
for 14 days of work. Yeah, that's damn good.
Mm-hmm.
But whoever Trump endorses is going to get elected president in a fair deal. I really believe that.
If you want to start an argument with Tony,
mm-hmm.
tell him that Trump's probably going to get DQ'd.
He probably is going to get DQ'd. Now, he might be able to fight and beat it, but I don't know if he will.
It's going to be tough.
But he's getting DQ'd on bullshit deal.
Not debating any of that.
No, you're right. I agree with you 100% on what you're saying. I think that's going to happen also. And I think it's going to cause some serious discourse in our country, and it's going to really piss people off. And it's not going to piss off just the people on our side. It's going to people on the other side, because there are people out there that have integrity, that want a fair election, that think we had a fair election, that they're going to be like, whoa, what's going on here now?
Right.
Why are we, arming the DOJ against a political opponent? That don't look right.
They said in 2016, there's plenty of video of them saying that Trump was an illegitimate president.
Oh, all the time.
All of them said it in 2016.
Yes.
So if you go with that logic, you beat him in 2016, and there was some Fugazi stuff that went on. And then they also say 2020 was straight up. So you beat him. You beat him twice, basically, by your logic. You could lose. So why are you so afraid of him?
Because
you've already beat him twice. If you use liberal logic, let him run again. Beat him a third time.
Yeah, they know they can't in a fair deal. But I think the same thing that you think is going to happen. It's going to be a big mess, and it's a stupid. Now, the only thing that may change this and alter this is if we win the midterms.
We're going to,
and that could change that whole. And the government, they got so many different ways here, but it's all fucking crooks. People are tired of it. I'm so sick and tired of politics playing such a big part of my life. I really am. I'm tired of it.
It doesn't pay. I'm not paying any attention. I don't know who's running. I know Abbott's running.
I don't watch the news.
So,
I read the news and I do research and stuff. I do that, but I'm tired. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of hearing about this shit. I'm over it.
Every 2 years.
This is fucking ridiculous. Yeah, we're going to talk about term limits and abortion, and then as soon as the election's over, you won't hear about it again until 6 months before the next election.
I hadn't seen anybody talking about term limits this time.
No, it's all abortion right now. That's their whole game, is that we're just going to force this, that they're going to make you take your babies away, and we're going to take your Social Security away. It's just all the same shit over and over again. But in New York, I would not be surprised if they get a
Republican
governor. And yeah, I think the Republicans are going to win everything. I mean, God Almighty, you don't have to walk around much and see the shit going on in the big cities to just realize that people that live in the big cities at work, they're tired of it.
It's got to be Giuliani was probably the last one, right?
Oh no, Michael Dukakis, I think, or not Dukakis. What's Bloomberg? I think he was a Republican.
Pataki.
Was Bloomberg a Democrat or Republican? He was a shitty Republican.
Does not say anything about him.
Mike Bloomberg was a.
No, I think you're thinking of mayor of New York.
Oh, I thought that's what you're talking about.
I'm looking up governor of New York.
Giuliani was never governor.
I know.
No, it's Como, basically.
Pataki, 95 to 2007. Then before that, I was in the 70s.
A guy in New York told me.
Nelson Rockefeller, he was a Republican.
I talked to a guy in New York, upstate, owned a business, and I was visiting with him. And I asked him, I said, I am shocked because there was Trump shit everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck Joe Biden shit everywhere. And I said something to him. He said, everybody up here is Republican. He said, 90% of us is. He goes, let me tell you how the model works. He goes, they have to win 12% outside of New York City. That's all they got to win.
That's all they have to win.
He said, well, they just got to, and he said, every fucking place has got 15% of the fucking population's idiots. And he goes, and I said, you probably got a good point there. He goes, that's what it is. Right. He said, when you get outside of them boroughs in New York City and you get out just 50 miles outside, he said, everybody is a conservative. Everybody. He said, it just takes 15%. He goes, our thing is we got to get people on the inside to get sick of it. And they are getting sick of it. You know, I saw Trump shit in New York City.
Yeah.
And you get to them Italian neighborhoods and stuff, they're all the same. And even the union people are starting to want it. They're getting away from that shit. It's cost them jobs.
It's going to be an interesting, we're living in history right now, Jeff.
We are.
Might not be that great, but it's history.
I know, and
not all just peaceful.
And I wonder how long it will. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen with Trump. I think they're going to do everything they can to disqualify him because they're scared to death of him. If they weren't scared to death of him, it wouldn't even be an issue. If I'm telling you right now, if this was Jeb Bush, they wouldn't give a shit. Two shits because they was going to beat him anyways.
Right.
Because nobody's going to get behind him. But it's going to take someone like Trump. The next guy is going to be like Trump. That's going to change things, and they know that because it's the American people want people outside there. Tulsi Gabbard.
It's going to be DeSantis and Tulsi.
That would be a great.
I think it's going to be Tulsi regardless.
Would be a
Trump Gabbard, DeSantis Gabbard. You heard it here first.
I think that's a good ticket either way. And I like DeSantis
because she can talk to Democrats and be like, "Listen, this is why I left."
Yes,
she
ain't the only one left that party. They've got lots of them left.
Right.
When your grandparents leave there, that's a big thing. I mean, but there's a country full of that people out there. Mm-hmm. Those people are so out of touch. AOC was dancing and jabbing around the other day when people were making fun of her and chanting at her and stuff. She has no respect for her constituents. None.
And then like they're dragging us into this nuclear conflict with the Ukraine and Russia, and I mean it just.
How deep is the deep? Did you see where Diphead, Turtlehead, Mitch McConnell? We need to give more money to Ukraine. No, fuck that. We don't want to give money to Ukraine. I'm sorry. I don't want to give a dime to Ukraine. I'm tired of it. We've given and given and given, and we don't even owe them. I want back what we gave them. We don't owe them shit. They're not one of our states. They're not our republic. They're not even on NATO. But I'm tired of fighting everybody else's fucking wars. You know, if you don't want Russia to take over your ass, get tougher and fight and get more. You know, we don't owe you that. We don't owe anything. We don't owe Afghanistan. We don't owe anybody anything. Bring our kids home. Take care of our allies, people that are there for us if we need them, and that's it. Now, if Russia was invading Europe, the UK, I would have more of a resolve to want to help.
Right. But
Ukraine is a damn cesspool of corruption, always has been. 20 years from now, the same shit going on in Ukraine is going to be going on that's been going on for the last 100 years.
I'm trying to find the total package. I mean, it's
It's mind
billions and billions
Yeah.
and billions.
We didn't have $5 billion for the wall, but we've got $500 billion to give to fucking Ukraine or whatever it is.
Not good.
And that guy just comes and asks for money like he's your fucking 16-year-old kid needing money.
We're
to go
gonna need more money over here.
We need $17 billion more dollars. Oh, okay. Let me write you a check. Why are we writing checks? There's something going on there. Somebody's covering somebody's ass. I mean, you just don't write checks like that for no reason at all. But that's what it reminds me of, a fucking teenage kid coming and asking for money.
Yeah, that's right. Who's the next coach that gets fired? Anybody else this year?
I still say Cliff Kingsbury gets fired before the season's out.
No, we're way too deep into it now.
If I was going to be a coach, if there's a coach to get fired, the kid at Denver is in trouble.
Yes, Hackett.
Yeah. He's in trouble.
Russell Wilson might have been a bad
and
bill of
so
goods,
is
though.
Josh McDaniel at the Raiders if they don't turn it around.
You think they'd be one and done?
Josh
of 'em?
McDaniel sucked at Denver as a head coach. Some guys are just better coordinators.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the bottom line to the whole deal.
I think Staley and for the Chargers, if they
He's
don't
in
turn
big
it
trouble,
around.
big time too.
'Cause,
They've
like,
given
he had
him the
all
money.
this hype.
Yep, all the money and all the players. Did they win this week?
Yeah.
Or did Seattle beat them?
No, Seattle beat them. Yeah, Seattle beat them.
Pete Carroll's done a hell of a job.
Geno Smith, baby.
He's done really. I mean,
Geno Smith.
And they've rebuilt their defense without their best defensive player, that Adams kid.
You know, you made a really good point. We're making a big deal about the Packers, which I'm not saying that they're not in trouble, but they got beat by the Jets and they've got beat by the Giants, who I think are a lot better than people give them credit for.
Very good, solid teams.
They've all got, if you look at the ways that they beat you, they've got a great offensive line and they can run the ball.
And they play good
but like
defense.
you said, the Jets have had 15 years of a top 10 draft pick.
Yep.
So, like, how could you not be good at this point?
Well, let's just take the Jets the last 5 years. In the last 5 years, the Jets traded the Adams kid, and he's cross.
Right.
What's his name?
Jamal Adams.
Jamal Adams. He traded him to the Seattle for like 3 first-round draft picks.
Right.
They traded someone else to somebody for some big draft picks. They've accumulated a big stock. And I think, now this is what's scary if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, and I'm not, but the Philadelphia Eagles, I think, have 3 first-round picks next year again.
Right.
That guy has accumulated a bunch of wealth too.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a good young roster also. Those teams have been building, and they build with Ohio State, Penn State, Iowa offensive linemen, and they get defensive linemen from the SEC. Mm-hmm. And they build solid teams, and they have really, really changed the outlook of football. The Giants are not going to win pretty.
No.
The Giants may beat you 21-20, but they're going to be in every football game.
Yep.
They got beat by the Dallas Cowboys, only game they got beat. And they were ahead 14-10, I think, going into the fourth quarter, and they got beat by 2 touchdowns or something. But I mean, they play close, and they're going to keep you in a game. Mm-hmm. And the Jets, they've built a pretty good young team. Zach Wilson didn't do much this week. I saw the stats.
He didn't have to,
and he looked good, but they play good defense.
He didn't have to.
And the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin will not get fired, but I would not be surprised if Mike Tomlin retires. The Steelers will not fire him.
No.
If he went 0-17, they wouldn't fire him.
No, they won't fire him for sure.
But
And I don't think he shouldn't get fired for having one bad year.
no, his problem is they kept Roethlisberger 2 years too long, and they didn't develop a young quarterback, which is harder to do than people think it is.
Oh,
Like right now, the Cowboys fans I've seen people still think they need Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush is not a starting quarterback in the NFL. So there is nobody.
He did what he was designed to do.
If he's a free agent this year right now, there is nobody offering him $15 million a year to come be their starter or $20 million a year.
You'd be surprised. Somebody's stupid. I mean, we did sign Brock Osweiler to big deals. So Nick Foles got a big deal. So people are dumb.
I don't see that happening, but maybe it would happen. But we can't develop young quarterbacks. All these young quarterbacks we've brought in, Trey Lance, empty body of work. We don't know what he is. We don't know. Kyler Murray got all this money. He has done nothing to prove that he is worth that kind of money. Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has not done anything other than stats to look good.
Yep.
I mean, they could have had a chance to lose the game the other day.
And I tell you what, Niners got Christian McCaffrey, which he's got to stay on the field first. If they make a run into the playoffs, let's say they get to the NFC Championship game.
What are they going to do with Garoppolo?
What do we do at quarterback now?
They're in the same situation they were in last year.
Well, yeah.
I mean, now Trey Lance is 3 years in, and you're paying him money on a rookie deal. But Jimmy G is the team's better with Jimmy G, I think. But Jimmy G's going to go somewhere else probably.
If you're Jimmy G, do you want to stay? After what? I mean, they've already said, like, we're phasing you out.
No, if I was Jimmy G, I would try to take a job with. Indy is like not retarded. What would I be? Not retired either. Quarterback retread center.
Yes.
You go to quarterback, you're done. You go to Indy. I mean, they took Phillip Rivers. They took Matt Ryan. They took Carson Wentz. They're going to write you a check, and you don't have to produce, and then they're going to get rid of you after 1 year. Matt Ryan's done after this year.
Yes, he's done.
They
said he has no zip on his ball anymore.
Yeah, he's just
His arm's
done.
out.
He's too old. Tom Brady's done.
It's looking like it.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Evans dropped an easy touchdown.
Yeah,
But
he did.
Tom Brady's done.
He
I
did.
mean, Payne, I think, told me they punted on all but one possession.
I don't know if that's true. They had a couple turnovers on downs, I know. Because it was like they were down. This is what doesn't make sense. And I saw it all last Sunday. You're down a touchdown. Or you're down 4 points. Everybody was going for it on 4th and 1.
Somebody was up by 6, and they didn't kick a field goal to put them up by 9.
Right.
It does not make sense.
I don't know why
all
everybody's
this
going.
analytics bullshit, it's bad football.
Everybody's going for 4. It's like 4th and 1, and everybody's going, punt the fucking ball, play defense, and get the ball back.
Yeah. Or
So-
kick your field goals when you can kick field. Those 3 points add up.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And I mean, I think Rodgers is probably done after this year unless they make a major move. His offensive line is terrible.
Rodgers, Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, all done. That's the last of that group of quarterbacks.
Sad.
I think it's all of them now that'll be gone. That were here for a long time and big-time players. Solid quarterbacks. But the problem is you got to replace those 3.
Good
And
luck.
they're hard to fucking find because the kid at Alabama, I watched him play against Texas. He's not an NFL quarterback. He'll be a top 10 pick because of what he's done at Alabama. At Alabama, he's got an optimal offensive line. He's got receivers that are all going to be in the NFL. He's got running backs that are all going to be in the NFL. Why would he not succeed? He's got better teammates than anybody else has.
Right.
And the kid at Ohio State, he looks really, really good. But is he in the same situation? When you got 3 of your offensive linemen are going to be first-round draft picks, all your wide receivers are going to be first-round picks, and your running back's going to be a second- or third-round pick. Why would you not succeed?
Do you think Saban should have played that wide receiver that punched that girl?
No.
I don't know why you would.
Bad optics.
Bad optics. Saban's usually all about optics, and I don't understand.
And it wasn't like it's going to make a difference in his team.
Right.
The
Like,
kid
bench
that's on the
fucking
bench
kid.
is a 5-star kid that can play. Yeah, the kid needs to be benched. They need to put him. He needs to be kicked out of football.
At least off of the team.
Yes, off, gone, done. He won't get a job in the NFL ever. He's done.
It's stupid.
I mean, Joe Mixon got a second chance, but Joe Mixon wouldn't get that chance today. And
No.
Joe Mixon, at least, the girl didn't deserve to get hit.
No.
But she should have never fucking done what she did to Joe Mixon either.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the girl
No,
from Tennessee. The
no.
girl from Tennessee looked like she was walking on the field.
No, that girl didn't do anything.
What'd the girl do to Joe Mixon?
I can't remember if she threw a drink
Did
in
she
his
say a
face
word
and
to him?
called the big bad word.
She said a word to him.
It wasn't cunt, but it was
Right.
another bad word. Yep,
Yeah.
I think so.
That's one of those things. Like, why are you going to poke the bear?
And if you're
Because
a girl,
she thought that nothing would happen to her. Is why.
And if you're a girl and you're going to do that, you need to make sure you're dating one of the wrestlers
Yeah.
because we saw what they did to the OU football players.
Beat the shit out of him. He still hadn't recovered from that.
Who?
That guy, that
The
kid that got
receiver?
the shit beat out of him. Yeah.
You don't fuck with a guy with cauliflower ears.
It's the first thing you look for.
We got a guy in Knox City, and I'm not going to say his name, but I'm telling you what, I've seen pictures of the guy, and I've seen him in town, and
Unsuspecting.
he would kill somebody.
Yes.
He's the kind of guy at a bar that somebody goes, I'm going to go over and fuck with that old boy.
100%.
And you have fucked with the wrong guy.
You've made you've made a grave mistake in your life.
Yep.
Like your life was going down one path and like you're off in the weeds all of a sudden because he will strangle you. He's very, very good at leg locks. He will snap everything that you've got in your knees, in your ankles without even thinking it.
Ain't that crazy, though, that how there are people like that?
They say that's what jiu-jitsu is. It's just a bunch of it's nerds basically because it's physical chess is what it is. It's what move can I make that he's not even thinking about, that's 4 moves ahead that I can submit him with. So what can I do here, there, and there?
They talk you into hurting yourself.
Well, it's chess. It literally is. Like you set traps and counter moves and you get them going one way.
Have you wrestled this guy ever?
Very, very limited. He's fucking strong.
So like he embarrass you real fast?
Fuck, if you wanted to, yeah. 100%. You're not done. You're done with him when he says you're done with him.
So it's that bad?
Like in a street fight?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not leaving. You're not leaving. They're calling the ambulance.
So you're gonna have to shoot him,
Yeah.
and you better shoot him before he gets older.
Yes. Yes, if he puts hands on you, the leg locks that this guy has, you don't even know what's happened.
It's funny too, is because
like he's here at one moment, and then like he's at your ankles, and you're like, how'd we get here?
Have you ever seen the show Paper Lines?
No.
Robert Duvall is in there.
Not Paper Line. That's
Ain't it Paper Lines?
fuck, what's that called? Tim and the other old guy, right?
Yeah, they're in a bar. These kids come in and trying to take up shit and just be assholes because they're two old men in there.
Right.
You know, and I think about that all the time. You're talking to a guy, a Delta Force guy, a Ranger guy. This guy right here that's a black belt, double black belt, or whatever he is. Those guys like right there, you're not going to scare them unless you got a gun.
Mm-hmm. And even then, I don't know that you're going to scare this guy.
But those guys like that, they go into a bar and they don't worry about someone, you know, getting a tough guy to jump on them and shit because they can take care of themselves. But that show that I'm talking about, those kids go running their mouths and stuff. And when you're a 19, 20-year-old kid and you think you're tough, you fucking find a man that's
secondhand line.
You find a man that's 50 years old.
Yeah.
That's you know, served time. You're talking to a guy like in that show right there. That guy had spent time fighting the Germans or whatever it was. That the way that movie was portrayed. Mm. Well, he ain't scared of a bunch of fucking punk kids with a damn beer bottle.
No,
he's gonna hurt you, and that's what he did do in that show.
And
he fucks that old boy up, them boys up. But that's this kid here right here. If you see him, I seen him in town not long ago, and I was thinking,
he's not a threat.
No, he doesn't not look like the kind of guy.
And he's the nicest.
He looks like the kind of guy that would fix your cable TV for you.
Nicest kid ever.
Yeah.
Like would do anything for anybody. Like, but that's what's interesting about like all these high level jiu-jitsu guys or anybody that's a badass. They're not mean people.
No, they're not doing it. That's their thing.
But like if you talk to like Clay Reed, nice guy, he could pummel you to death.
Clay does not want to get a hold of this boy.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying anybody that's like a legitimate tough guy.
Yeah, they don't have nothing to prove.
They're all nice and easygoing until it's not time to be easygoing.
But an old bar crawler like Clay would have trouble with a guy like that because he wouldn't know what to do because that guy get a hold of him real fast. If you don't knock you out first, you're screwed.
If now obviously there's always a puncher's chance, but if Clay doesn't connect early, it's gonna be a long night. But
quick,
and I'm sure I'm sure it happens every night. Like little dorky kid, at the bar, they don't check the ears, and they get rolled up. What's bad, it don't happen as much as it used to now because my dad used to talk about this all the time because he was a scrapper when he was younger and he used to fight all the time. And he said, you start winning a bunch of fights and then guys want to fight to see how tough you are. And Tony went through that a couple times too. Right.
You know, when you're legitimately a tough guy and you can fight, then guys want to fight to see how tough you really are.
Right.
So then every night you're having to deal with some little drunk guy that wants to prove how big he is. Because the guy that's really a fighter, he don't have nothing to prove anyways.
Mm-mm.
But the guy who thinks he's tough, that wants to prove something, wants to go start fights with people.
Yeah.
And that's anyways, I saw that guy again the other day and I was thinking, it's kind of like there's some people I'd like to kind of, you jump on that motherfucker over there. You think you're a badass.
Go get a handful of him. But yeah.
And it probably takes a lot to get him to fight somebody.
Yep. Yeah. 100%. Because he knows what he can do, or he knows what outcomes it would be. It's not going to be pretty.
What was that show they used to have, The Bullied or whatever it was? They take some guy and they put him in a ring
on MTV with like a
a
professional fighter,
and they get their ass beat every time,
just demolished.
And they think
after about 30 seconds, you get this hallway tough guy that's used to punking little kids around, and even like they put Mayhem Miller in there, and he's not a big dude. He's tall, lanky, and kind of goofy looking, and he just absolutely murdered those people. They thought they'd be tough, and then they have no gas tank, so they go out, they throw punches for about 30 seconds, and then like, what the hell? I got 2 more rounds of this, and then he just imposes his will on them.
That's crazy. Imagine being that tough where it's just a game.
That's all it is. Anybody, like even Logan, high level jiu-jitsu guy, it's just a game. It's all about where am I going to put my body in relations to yours, and eventually you're going to screw up. But yeah, it's
you find an old man that's 60 years old that's been doing jiu-jitsu for 40 years, do not fuck with him.
Anthony Bourdain was a big jiu-jitsu guy.
Really?
Yeah, he got into it. I think he was up to like a blue belt or something. But I mean, at his age, he was fucking ripped to shreds, and he was entering jiu-jitsu tournaments, and yeah, he was an interesting guy.
I had to. I watched the first part of the game. I got to watch on ESPN on live TV. The second part of it, I had to watch the fucking Manning brothers.
You didn't like it?
No, you can't watch a football game.
Why?
They don't talk about stats, who caught the ball.
Who cares? You're watching the game. You should know.
I was trying to keep Cole Kmet to get one more catch so I could go 2-1. That fucker's horrible. But anyways,
I drafted him.
Oh, I did
and
too.
I dropped him.
I've tried to. I can't pick nobody up. Tight ends are hard as hell to get, and there's very few good ones this year at all. And they're all touchdown dependent.
It's basically two. If you did not draft Kelsey or Andrews,
Kittle's coming on now.
You're doing the same thing at tight end that everybody else in your league is.
There's another one out there right now that's a free agent. Maybe he's fixing to be good.
Who?
Just because of his situation. Hunter Henry.
Oh.
Because that Zappy kid throws to the tight end more.
Right.
But anyways, I had to watch the Manning brothers last night. And of all fucking people, guess who was on last night?
Obama.
Fuck yes.
I saw that. I tuned into the Manning cast after Obama had signed off.
Well, I'm going to tell you this much. I've said it 1,000 times. I would love to have Barack Obama sit down at that table or chair and talk to him.
Yeah.
He's a very charismatic guy. He really is.
He's fun.
He seems like a really good dude. I can't stand him. I don't like his policy. And I just don't care much for him. But as a person, he doesn't seem like that bad a guy.
Right.
And he was, talking to him about stuff. And then they started the go to vote shit. And that's when I turned it off. I didn't want to hear that shit. But, both of them are out of reality and touch if they think that.
Who?
The Manning boys. If they were pushing him on his political, because everything he stands for is not good for America, I don't think.
Well, I don't think, were they talking about anything political or just we need to go vote?
We go vote and stuff, but I just kind of thought. But to them.
You should go vote.
Because you should. And I saw a bunch of people bitching about it. I'm thinking, you know what? Why would you not have? We'd have him on our podcast. 100%. If Obama wanted to be on our podcast, we'd have him on here.
Yeah. Now,
I'd ask him some questions they didn't ask him, but just a normal conversation with him, he seems like an okay guy. He really does.
Yeah.
I understand why people like him.
In 2008, it made perfect sense. I don't blame anybody that voted for him.
No, the first time, no.
2008, it sounded great.
I was off George Bush by about 2005 or 6.
Right.
When
he was coming up and this young guy and full of energy and
we're going to fix this and your health care is going to cost $2,500.
Your health care is going to be good. And he was, you can say what you want about him, but he was presidential.
He was.
He was very buttoned up with everything that you can disagree with his politics, but he was a very, very buttoned up individual that played president. I mean, he seemed very well put together. I never felt like he was unprepared for anything that he ever did.
No, but I felt like everything was staged for him. The more, especially as we got into it more, we found out all the lies and shit that went with it, all the Nebraska kickbacks to get the health care passed and all that bullshit. All politics. It's just a game, and he was staged up just like the next one.
He looked like a president.
Yep, and he's all in that inner circle.
When he got up on stage, I thought, okay, this guy looks like he knows what he's doing.
After about 18 months, I figured out we were fucked.
Now the second time,
if you voted for him, you were an idiot. Horrible.
2012,
horrible for America.
But
it's all that whole group is put together. When you see all the pictures, they don't have Trump in there. There's why he's not one of them.
It's George Bush, it's Clinton, it's Obama, it's
Jimmy
Biden.
Carter. Every one of them was all set up by whoever was running the show. So, anyways, all right, we're going to do a podcast tomorrow on public hunting, the do's and don'ts. We're going to talk about the things that you should do. We're also going to talk about what you should expect from an outfitter and what an outfitter expects from its clients. Because I have a lot of people ask me questions, from tips to everything else. We'll get into all of that. Just kind of a touch base type situation. Anyways, we appreciate y'all listening to us. If you watch us on YouTube, we have not been on YouTube in a while. We've been kicked off again. I'm sure we'll get kicked off again. It is so frustrating to know the things that we could talk about that they wouldn't care about. Some heinous, evil shit we could do, and it would never get a problem at all. But if you talk out against certain things, you get hammered, and it's a bullshit deal.
I tried Rumble. I said it's about as user-friendly as a cactus for a dildo. There's other sites, but you got to go where the people are, and unfortunately, YouTube is the giant. So we'll keep assessing some things. But anyway, we're back up on YouTube, so this is here for until they want to kick us off.
3 days. All right. Thank y'all. God bless y'all. Y'all have a great week.
Go look at some of our sponsors. Listen, we've already talked about Pacific Calls, BHP25, Dirty Duck Coffee. That's promo code Big Honker, 15% off. And also go sign up for their subscription program. Automatically comes to your doors. Go to Ducks Unlimited, Double T British Kennels, Stanfield Hunting Outfitters, Boss Shot Shells, Dive Bomb Industries, the Hunt Proof app. Listen, go create an account there. Gun Dog Outdoors, Shin Gear Waders, Lucky Duck, Looking Glass Podcast, Alpha Outdoors, and Double T British Kennels.